The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 years, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists Dan Eve, the Crypto Raptor,
Hello and happy Friday, everybody.
Josh Shigala from the Standard.io,
Greetings, Earthlings.
Gideon Galash from Blockchain Hotel,
Hello, Bitcoin fanboys.
and I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue one. Bitcoin price briefly rises to record high, over $70,000 a coin. That's even higher than 69,420. The Bitcoin price reached a record high as well in the New York Times. And Andrew at AP_abacus on Twitter writes, Bitcoin price action has changed in a way that is hard to verbally quantify. This was when Bitcoin was at 63,000. No overnight Asian narratives. Anyone seen a Binance headline lately? BlackRock and Fidelity control the narrative now. Some might not like that new reality, but NGU flatline to up over the weekend. Dan Eve, what do you think about the sudden value of Bitcoin and the all-time high?
Well, and Andrew's right? The big players have entered the game now, the traditional finance ballers, and they're the ones that are calling the shots, right? And we've seen I was talking today about how Binance, you look at, for example, now Binance, the CEO, the god of Binance, right? The literally the god of Binance, CZ Binance, has been done by the feds and is going to be paying a fine, and yet BNB is at near all time highs at like $480 or something crazy like that, you know. So you know that what happened really was that like CZ stepped out of the way for BlackRock controlled people to come in and start controlling Binance, because they're the ballers that control the narrative now, right? They're the ones that are turning people into believing or realizing that Bitcoin is actually good for the environment. So yeah, now that they're at the party, we've got to kind of play by their ball game. But you know, everyone was waiting for the institution's money coming, but the institution's money comes their power and their greediness and other craziness that comes with it.
I agree, Dan. Last week, I told everyone that the friends and family round for Bitcoin was over. And now I saw another great tweet a little while ago. It said that we traded CZ, SBF, Do Kwon, all these other not great businessmen for Larry Fink, BlackRock, and the rest of Wall Street. An incredible trade. The tweet said that, we could win a championship with this kind of team. Josh Shigala, what do you think about the price of Bitcoin hitting an all-time high?
Well, you know it's an all-time high when all your friends that you've been telling about Bitcoin for years to start blowing up your WhatsApp or whatever else, saying, "Hey, I want to buy Bitcoin." You're like, can you just stop it? Buy when no one's talking about it, you idiots. Like, don't buy at the all-time high. What are you doing? Just stop it. In fact, I wrote a whole tweet article or X article about it because I just got so annoyed by it. And yeah, I mean, good on. I'm a perma bull, so yeah, go buy some. But the problem is when they're jumping in at 20K, sorry, at 70K, uh, you know, it could definitely go down at this point, just to basically reconsolidate a little bit and then go back up. I do believe it's going to head up towards about 200K in this bull run, so it's not a problem. But I just think, man, like we've been down at, almost 20K in this bear market, 30K or whatever it was, 40K. Like that's when you snack on these things. I don't know. Do these same people, when they go to buy clothes, go running when jeans are at like the most expensive price you've ever seen them, or do they wait for a sale and then go, oh no, it's out of fashion now? No, 20% off. Pff, not buying that. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, BlackRock fashionably late to the party. And yeah, I mean, I don't particularly like these big mega corporations. I think they're only mega corporations because they're a crony capitalistic nonsense. that they're not a true free market capitalistic entity. They're more of a, hey, we're going to get the state to basically allow us to control vast amounts of the economy, and then lobby the hell out of them so that we can keep our monopoly. So I don't like these sorts of crony capitalists that much, but it is what it is. I don't bitch and moan about it. I just get on with life. And while it's a great thing for the price, I think we've got to just watch out for consolidation of power, because the whole point is decentralization. But no one has control, so if they want in, they can get in, I guess.
So maybe ask Satoshi about this topic about consolidation.
Yeah.
You want to say someday? I don't know.
I'll ask him. I'll ask him. Yeah.
Just ask Satoshi Nakamoto for this topic. He can
Well,
probably consolidate something.
I think we
I like
can
that you
definitely
just say just.
I think we
yeah.
can count on them. They'll keep Bitcoin ETFs legal, but as far as private custody, having your own wallet, I don't know that we can count on them to keep that kind of thing legal. And I have been hearing from friends and relatives again recently, Josh, as you said, and it's really sad. I didn't ask them to do this, but when they call up, they all say the same thing. Okay, so I should have bought when you told me, but what should I do now? And
I know.
It's nice that they've brought that humility, but I still have no time machine to let them put their $1,000 in back in the day, rather than putting it in now. I try to tell them, like you do, Josh, if you put it in now, like you say, it might go down, but you want to have the idea that you could wait 5 years. If you can wait 5 years, my theory is your investment, say it's $1,000, it would be worth more, right? And have that attitude. But instead, they're going to look at it every day. They're going to freak themselves out. But Gideon, what do you think? We've hit an all-time high for Bitcoin, the price?
I think the stories that you just explained are the same stories at the last all-time highs all the time, even at 4K or 2K, whatever. So always my thing is always to say, like, kind of under 100K, don't think about it, buy. This is always my right now feedback about this question. And this is what I say since, I don't know, 9 years or something. So it didn't change at all, but I agree with this. And I thought, from my point of view, it was a kind of German or European problem, because they are kind of very scared in this kind of volatile investments and blah. So I thought this was a kind of German problem, that they don't, that they buy at the all-time high and sell at the all-time low. And what you just said, Josh, that it's obviously a worldwide problem. But anyway, that's the market, I think. Yeah.
I think it was really hard to convince people to get into crypto. You're asking them to invest, to put their money into this weird thing. And I think everyone has this wall where it's like, I will not fall for get rich quick schemes, right? I will not waste my money. Dan, what do you think more on that?
Yeah, well, I just had a really good experience in the weekend where I had a friend's 40th in London, and as I was chatting away, one of the guys came up to me, and it does happen every now and then. They're like, "Dad," they're really excited and happy, and I was like, what's up? What's up, Dave?" And he was like, "I bought Bitcoin when you told me to," and I was like, "Oh, amazing!" It just made me feel really good, because it's like a story of someone who, you banged on about it. And although he was the sort of guy that definitely gave jibes at the time, right? Dan going on about the Bitcoin and blah blah blah. But the good thing is that he listened, and it's just really nice when people come, that they approach you and say, "Look, you've made a difference to my life by going on about something that was annoying at the time, but you won me round." So it works eventually.
There we go. A rare story of success. And I agree, Dan. I do think it works eventually. Maybe if you started talking to them at 5K, 20K, 50K, they see it at 70. Now they're ready to come on board, but they needed that convincing of the market. And now it's time for us to convince the market as we predict against the source of all truth, the Bitcoin Magic 8 Ball. Dan, Eve, will the price of Bitcoin be higher or lower this time next week?
Yeah, I reckon 75. We're going for the stars, baby.
Josh Agala, higher or lower?
My triangles point to 75. Let's do it. Let's go. 75. We're there,
Gideon,
Dan.
higher or lower? Is it an all
Yes,
optimistic
yes.
panel?
I just say yes. To
All
be
right.
honest, in long, obviously higher. In short, in 1 week, I don't know. I'm not a chart analyst.
Well, here we go. We're going to ask the Bitcoin Magic 8 Ball, the source of all truth in this universe. Will the price of Bitcoin be higher this time next week? You may rely on it. You may rely on it. A lot of words from the 8
Yes.
Ball. I
Sorry,
need
I was muted. Yes.
Yes, higher. And now moving on to issue 2, where we make fun of Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, you're really great at a lot of things. You sold broadcast.com, which was pretty much pirated college basketball games on the internet, to Yahoo for billions of dollars. And then you sold before the Yahoo stock crashed. Good on you, Mark Cuban. You bought the Mavericks, you sold the Mavericks. But 4 years ago, you preferred bananas to Bitcoin. Thanks to Crypto Graffiti on Twitter for putting this package together. Let's watch Mark Cuban tell us why Bitcoin is no good.
Here's the thing about crypto, particularly Bitcoin. Bitcoin is worth what somebody will pay for it. Did you ever see someone who collected baseball cards and they were really, really, really proud of their baseball cards because they kept on saying they were going to go up in price? There's no real intrinsic value. You can't eat a baseball card or shouldn't eat a baseball card. Bitcoin, there's even less you can do with it. At least I can look at my baseball card and go, ooh, that's my favorite player. That's Roberto Clemente. Do you put it in a device? Do you print it out? How do you keep from being hacked? Who's going to host it for you? It's just so difficult that it's only worth what somebody will pay for. I'd rather have bananas. I can eat bananas. Crypto, not so much. Look, I can make a great argument for blockchain. There's a lot of applications and they'll be used, but you don't need public Bitcoin, BTC. You can create blockchain on your own without using all the available cryptocurrencies. Here's the thing about crypto.
You don't need Bitcoin. And now, 4 years later, in front of the White House on CNBC, here's the same Mark Cuban.
Bitcoin is just driven by supply and demand. There's only going to be 21 million of them. The more people that buy and the fewer people that sell, that means the price is going to go up. That's just the nature of it. It's a great store of value. That's why I have an investment in it, you know, because I do feel that the demand is going to exceed the number of people selling.
What happened to the bananas? What happened to the it's worthless? Josh Shigala, what do you think about Mark Cuban's sudden turn for Bitcoin?
What I don't like is that these clowns come out and all of a sudden they're the expert. You see this with Mr. Not So Wonderful, who shilled FTX, and they're treated like royalty because you know they got lucky once with selling to Yahoo or whatever. I don't know. I just find there's real experts like here on the panel that have been going on about Bitcoin since freaking $10. And where are the media calling us, the people that the true visionaries that didn't see this? We were before the Moon Boys, before the lawyers, before the regulators, before the ICOs, before all of this stuff were the ragtag people that saw true value in this, the ones that were standing up against fools like Mark Cuban, saying bananas are worth more. Oh yeah, you ever tried to see how long a banana lasts in fresh air? Like, probably 20 minutes. Yeah, what are you talking about, Mark? You're just an idiot. And now that you've jumped on the bandwagon, you're now telling your client, and look, I have to say the same thing for, and at least Peter Schiff had a strategy on shitting on Bitcoin because his strategy was to sell more gold. At least there's a strategy there. But I can say the worst part of Schiff is that all of the people that listen to him didn't probably got put off from buying probably the most valuable asset you could ever come across in definitely our generation. And he told them not to invest. He told them not to buy. constantly. And so when you see Mark Cuban coming out with this and then changing his mind, I just think, man, screw you guys and screw the mainstream media for keep on platforming these people. You know, when the real mavericks are here. The real mavericks are here, pun intended.
Well, I agree, Josh, and I agree with what you said about the media always bringing in these old people who don't know anything, who were wrong. Like, yes, he's saying the right thing now. There's 21 million Bitcoin. He looked it up on Wikipedia. It's fantastic. But when we needed him 4 years ago, Mark Cuban was not with us. He was powerful, he was independent, and he didn't help us when we needed him. He was a technologist. He had the early Yahoo stock, the early broadcast.com experience. He did not come through and support us when we needed him. And that's what's so disappointing about seeing these people come around now. Sure, they're coming around and they're right. You know, Bitcoin is the thing. Yes, you've come to the truth. But where were you when we needed you, when it was really low, especially when it could have helped people? And I love his intro comment about baseball cards, because I've always collected baseball cards and had collectibles and so forth. And then somehow, when we made them on Ethereum a few years ago with curio cards, it really paid off. So I always love it when people down collectibles, because a lot of people do buy collectibles at the right time and sell them at the right time. It is possible. It's just about like you said, it's a collectible.
Yeah, and I would actually agree that Bitcoin is truly the one true collectible because it's the first. Even if I don't know, Ethereum or I don't know, some other coin eventually goes, oh, we're better than Bitcoin, you know, Skype's Bitcoin basically. Then what would happen there? Why would Bitcoin still be valuable? Because it was the first. So people will be like, I've got one of the very first blockchains that ever got invented. So it's always going to have the intrinsic value of being first. And humans have this tick of going first, collectible, valuable, keeping it. And so, yeah.
And what's great is he said exactly the opposite at the end of his piece. He said, blockchain is valuable, Bitcoin is not. And you know, we lived through this multiple times, this blockchain, not Bitcoin. And yes, I do think blockchain's a cool invention, but I think that it was made for Bitcoin, which is the coolest invention. Let's go to Gideon. What do you think about Mark Cuban's sudden turn? He likes Bitcoin more than bananas now.
To be honest, I'm not in this topic at all. I just didn't follow this discussion on Twitter or something, but what you just sent me before was obviously the same shit talking like the last years. And obviously, you can make this comparison to some kind of tulips in Amsterdam or bananas, whatever you want. It's not necessary from my point of view at all, even what Mark Cuban says, because Bitcoin doesn't care. This is what my experience is about the last years, especially in the last 4 or 3 years, because Bitcoin was getting more immutable against any kind of FUD or FOMO, whatever. Even what Binance, even if Binance probably or maybe tomorrow will have a fallout, then it wouldn't make this price discussion that much complicated that like in the past, because it's kind of mass adoption. But I'm not, it's just my point of view. So I don't care about what they tweet or whatever. Maybe Musk, there should be we have an eye on, but Mark Cuban, whoever, yeah.
It is pretty clear that it's different and more valuable than bananas, though. When you can send around value across the internet without a trusted third party, it's just magic. I mean, I remember using my first Bitcoin transaction and sending it from the wallet to the exchange to the wallet, from the wallet back to the exchange. And, you know, all there was is just a large computer beep, you know, beep. It's got the little 0.001 or whatever I was sending around. And then beep, you send it back to the exchange. It's a magical experience. It's like downloading your first torrent. It's like you can't believe that the internet is working this way and that so many complicated things have lined up, and you just did a few clicks. I mean, the complications are not on your side.
Okay. I agree. The bananas are not that kind of easy transferable or something, but in general, I think the point is another one. But it's about the value behind it, even if you can share it however. But from my point of view, it's the same discussion, as I said, since, I don't know, 10 years. And always the same value arguments, always the same arguments against it and pro Bitcoin. There is nothing new or special from my point of view for this discussion right now. Maybe the Lightning you can discuss if it's really accessible for everyone and stuff like this. But yeah, this Mark Cuban posts are for me like a renewal of the same discussion. And yeah.
I do think it is a mirror of the tulips argument from years ago. He's just chosen bananas. But it is funny when people see this new technical thing and they don't understand it. So they try to refer to something in the past, and usually it's Beanie Babies or tulips, something, the South Sea stock bubble. They think of something that's a fad. And we've been trying to tell them from the beginning, technology is here to stay. MP3s are awesome. Everyone has an MP3 player now. Video compression is awesome. Everyone watches compressed video. Dan, Eve, what do you think about Mark Cuban coming around?
Do you still use MP3, by the way?
I don't think we do. We use a different kind of audio compression, but the idea of compressed media, which freaked everybody out. Okay. They're like, oh my gosh, you can get 10 CDs on one CD or 100. It was a good idea, and it was unstoppable. They tried to make it a criminal idea. And the same thing with Bitcoin. They tried to make it a criminal idea. And no, it's just incredibly useful. Criminals use it first. Porn discovers everything first as well. But Dan, what do you think about Mark Cuban?
Well, it's just another one that's a matter of time, right? And he's quite a tech head, so you'd have thought he would have been swayed a lot sooner, as you mentioned with Yahoo. So he obviously, he's got quite a tech mind on. Now, most people seem to not really understand Bitcoin when you first explain it, and obviously the go-to thing is to try and make it analogous to something that you've heard before, like you said, the tulip or the South Sea bubble, etc. But eventually, the good thing is that people are won round, and Mark Cuban's just another example of someone that didn't understand the technology, poo-pooed it, eventually learned about it, and now is actually realizing, and not just realizing, but saying the same stuff as everyone else about the fact that it's about scarcity, about the comparison to being a collector's item. So it's just a matter of time. They're all going to swing round to Bitcoin eventually.
Here, Dan. And while we made fun of Mark Cuban today, we do want to welcome him into Bitcoin. We are glad to have you here, and we hope that you can do some good for people in the future. Moving on, check out World Crypto Network at worldcryptonetwork.com. We've got thousands of videos, and now we've got shorts, really short videos that you can watch. Sometimes they show up as shorts on YouTube. Sometimes they show up as videos. I have no idea what's happening. At worldcryptonetwork.com. Moving on to issue 3 for Bitcoin mines in Texas. The honeymoon is over. Now, sure, you could say we've predicted this topic from the beginning. We've predicted that it was a bad idea for Governor Abbott to bring in Bitcoin miners to stabilize his janky electricity grid, with the idea being that the miners will generate power when there's excess power and they'll use it for mining, and that the miners would be paid to not mine, which we knew was going to be controversial. Well, the controversy's here. The miners made more money not mining than mining. The public who live next to the Bitcoin mines are upset with the noise and the electricity usage, and all of Texas seems to be a continuing disaster. Meanwhile, all the Bitcoin people made money and seem like they're going to keep making money. Let's go to Gideon if you're there. What do you think about the Texas energy crisis and the idea to bring in Bitcoin miners as a solution?
To be honest, Texas in general, I do not agree on any stage, so there's no discussion. But to be honest, I was just away for a minute, so if there is another question in addition to the taxes on mining fees or rewards, please give me an update. Sorry.
It's mainly about Texas has their own energy grid. They're not connected to any of the other states, which is a huge problem. And they attempted to balance their grid with miners. So when they had too much power, the miners would use it. When they had a power need, they'd pay the miners not to mine. Obviously, the miners love this, but no one else seems to.
To be honest, I heard this the first time. Which state does cover not mining profitable mining companies.
Well, I mean, the mining companies are profitable. No one likes them. So they all flock to
Ah,
Texas, and it's been a huge disaster. And they're probably going to leave and go somewhere else soon, is what it sounds
well,
like.
this is probably, in addition to the electricity price, one of the reasons why Bitcoin mining is so kind of value volatile. Also, yeah, as I said, from my point of view, it's not, even if you ignore the electricity price in Germany, it makes no sense to mine here or in Europe in general, as far as I know. But I'm out of this mining since, I don't know, some years, so don't have a really really good feedback about this.
It does seem that Bitcoin mining, like sweatshops, is a race to the bottom, and that they'll go country to country or state to state looking for the deals. And then if it doesn't work out, the deal moves away. They just move
Yeah,
on.
obviously, it's obviously the same like the in history of Bitcoin and every other producing company. If they don't get the right resources from the places where they act, they switch, and this move happens obviously much faster than in other industries in the mining business, because you can just put your miners on Iceland or wherever if you have an agreement there, and makes it much faster, but much more flexible, and from my point of view, much better, because more flexibility, and if you have better tax or electricity costs or whatever in any country, you just switch or move there. Georgia, for example, I know from some mining companies they are acting there. Iceland, I don't know. This is, from my point of view, not in general, from the business side of view, a bad thing, because if you pay more taxes there, you move to another country, and this is bad for the country in general at all. So this is like the same procedure. So I agree with mining companies who switch to cheaper countries for taxes and electricity. Yeah.
Well, it does seem to me like everything is on the side of the mining companies. They can move easily. They made a bunch of money not mining. And these Texas people, we're going to read another article in 6 months, and they're going to say, all the miners are gone, and we're sad about it. We've got these big empty computer houses and no computers to run.
I can agree on the one side and disagree on the other side, because mining company means not also running 100 whatever end miner in place A. That means also rent the place, find the electricity provider, and if you need to switch, this means also all these taxes for the import, export for the miners. So it's not that simple that you can say, okay, I don't know, Germany is too expensive, I switch to Georgia right now. Then you need to pay import, export taxes, whatever, all this stuff. This is why I think this also all this mining cloud stuff is so expensive still right now. And whatever you think about mining, cloud mining, this is also a market, and they are very fast in switching all these facilities, and this is priced in, obviously. Yeah.
Dan, Eve, what do you think about Texas and the Bitcoin miners?
Well, they're continuing to make a stir, right? The locals, I think, there does seem to be there's a bit of extra hype around miners specifically. It's almost like, like the hum that comes from Bitcoin miners is different to the hum that comes from a data center or that comes from some other type of factory. It's almost like there's people get this thing in their head where they hear about something that they don't particularly like, and then they just run away with it, right? So the Bitcoin mining is literally just it's just a data center for us that know about it. But these people probably genuinely think that there's some sort of hardcore like environmental mining type thing going on that's messing with their brain waves and screwing them up, just like the pylons that had electromagnetic waves and all that. So yeah, I mean, for Texas, this is an opportunity, right? They want to build on their their power supply system, and they're cut off from the grid elsewhere. But this is a good opportunity to become completely, even more independent and incentivize it in their own specific way. They're going to get people that are pissed off that the grid is paying miners back. But when you think about it, now that Bitcoin's gone up in price, would the miners have lost out on money if they'd have compared to how much they got paid? If because otherwise they'd still have that Bitcoin right now, which would be worth a lot more. So there's two sides of the coin, right? But at the end of the day, these Bitcoin miners are paying customers for electricity. So if the electricity company doesn't want to supply them at all, or wants to make a deal with them that they pay them if they need the electricity, then that's up to the electricity company, and people can complain about it, but that's it. You're just complaining about another person using electricity just because you don't like what their electricity is being used for, which is the craziest part.
There is one more option that I don't think the good people of Texas would like, and that's, of course, to create your own Texas Bitcoin mining company that would do this grid stabilization for you, and that you wouldn't have to pay this $30 million penalty, because if you want to turn off the machines, you own them. But then again, that's socialism, and that's government doing things for people. And I don't think Texas, where they're free to have power problems and freeze to death in the winter, I don't think they'd want anything like that. They'd prefer the freedom. Josh Shigala, what do you think about Texas and the Bitcoin miners? To me, it seems all about advantage miners.
Well, anything that is based on a crony capitalistic system, so not capitalism, I want to outline that. So capitalism is its own thing. As soon as you have crony capitalism, where the state is heavily influencing the market, you tend to get distortions. So if you get a company that is, if you get the government paying you to turn on to not mine, of course it's going to be bad. And the funny thing is that Bitcoin mining is actually really good for the environment, because a lot of the time it looks for the cheapest source of energy. So they start to look for renewable, because renewable energy is out of the earth when it's just hot air coming out of the earth, or if it's waterfalls falling down, it's relatively, well, it's pretty much free if you can tap it, apart from the manpower and everything else take to build that, but the initial capital. But once you've got it, it's just this flow of energy. The other source of free or cheap energy is when the government comes in and subsidizes it. And you'll find this usually in communist or socialist countries. And what happens is that people will make a lot of money quickly, and then the state will come in and basically arrest you because you're taking advantage of their goodwill of giving free energy. So, I found it an interesting idea of putting miners in place to throttle energy power so that you can up the energy production. And then if energy is low, you're making money and you don't have to throttle down, which is quite difficult, apparently. And when energy is really in high demand, you throttle down the Bitcoin miners instead of your whole production. There is this idea, a few companies have used it, where you get a massive, fat, big flywheel made of stone, which is tons and tons of stone, and you during the day you wind this thing up, or at night. Yeah, at night you wind this thing up when there's not many people using the energy grid, and then when there is, you turn that momentum back into energy and feed it back to people. So it's a similar thing, but Bitcoin mining, right? Instead, you use Bitcoin miners, and I like the idea, but anytime you get governments involved, subsidizing and manipulating, you know who the loser is? The people, because they're the ones going to pay for a badly mispriced idea, because price is what actually gives you market feedback. And if you disguise the price by taking through taxes and feeding it to someone, if you disguise the price, then you disguise efficiencies or inefficiencies. and you don't end up seeing those. And then apart from the people that are making the money, they see them. And then they get out of there by the time the whole jig is up. But yeah, I'm never a big fan of these, and the other thing, this article is quite funny. It goes on about the noise. Dan touched on that, and all these people pissed off there. Oh, my chickens aren't laying eggs anymore because the sound. Like, what? Your chickens aren't? Imagine telling your grandfather years ago, well, yeah, in my day, it was we had to look out for foxes and stuff. Now we have to watch out for miners because this electric beehive is just making such a racket that my chickens won't lay. Fascinating. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm a big fan of let the free market find the cheapest electricity, because they will make a lot of R&D to find renewable energy, to find where it's the cheapest, where there's hot springs or something that will feed the miners who are
Exactly. This is what exactly I think from the beginning on. Also, for example, the mining process in China was banned or something, and then they popped up anywhere else, and all these processes anyway needed some time and some manpower, because all the miners from China was a part of some kind of this transaction this time. So all the miners from China, as it was banned, needed to be transported to some other European or US country, whatever. And there was a lot of hustle with the declaration of the machines, and if there are whatever graphic cards or blah blah blah. So there were a lot of different situations, and this was a hustle for all miners I know. From my point of view, I don't know if you have other experiences, but
the
move from China from whatever hardware to whatever country was very, very hard. And but this was also a process that needs to be fixed. And in the crypto community, obviously in the crypto space, people are always very engaged. So it needed, I don't know, 6 months, or I can't explain the time right now, but it needed some months to just figure this out. And then the miners were in Texas, Iceland, whatever. So yeah.
Well, and we also saw lots of photos and videos of abandoned mining facilities, of cards that they left behind, or chips and them being smashed up, or just being left to rot, or the floods when it floods. So we might see a similar kind of a disaster here in Texas if they leave.
I'm pretty sure the most of all these photos and videos are scam and stuff, or just FUD or whatever, because from my point of view, the professional mining companies don't post any videos on any YouTube channels. So yeah.
Well, you'd hope that they would take the stuff with them and that it would be valuable enough that they'd still want to use it. But sometimes when you got to get out of town, you got to get out of town.
Yeah, true. This is what I just said. So the main mining hardware that was useful at this time, 2000 whatever, 18 or something, was still useful. That was transported to other countries, obviously, but they still had these issues with taxes and hardware import stuff and blah blah.
It is more complicated to move country to country. But I think with Texas, again, the same problem is that they have a separate energy market, that they are disconnected from the other states, so they can't buy power, they can't sell power, they can't interact with the market. They have kind of a walled garden situation, which is putting them at a permanent disadvantage. Of course, it's probably very expensive to standardize their grid and to connect it to the other states, which is probably why we probably haven't seen that. I also agree with Dan. I think that the people hear the word Bitcoin mining and they think about coal mining and digging and using nasty nasty chemicals and leaving behind a bunch of slab and leftover metals, and they think that it's a horrible process, so they don't want it going on in their towns. Whereas, like Josh, if Google's building a data center, that's great. My chickens are laying more eggs. Like, my children are smarter. But again, it's the same thing. It's just a data center, guys. It doesn't matter what it's doing. But I do like the idea that the hum could be different and that we should look into that. Hey, shout out to everybody on Twitter that they try to call X. I didn't know about this, but apparently we've got 107 people watching on Mad Bitcoins, 96 people watching on World Crypto Network Twitter, and we have more people watching on YouTube and maybe one guy watching on Facebook. But shout out to everybody. It's a great time to push the like button or the favorite button or the tweet button. Just try to push some buttons that would help more people find this show. We appreciate you for helping out. We can't push all the buttons ourselves. Moving on to issue 4. Binance says there's not enough women in crypto. So it's a Women's Month or something like that, International Women's Day. And they've launched a new fragrance called Crypto as a new way to open up conversations with the public on what needs to be done to bridge the gender gap. Let's watch a little bit of Binance's video. And remember, this is a professional billion-dollar company's advertisement. This is not something that you or I made ourselves going out with a microphone telling people about Bitcoin. This is presumably the best that we can get. So we set up a stand for a new fragrance, Crypto, to spark conversation. This is what happened.
Have you tried crypto? Would you like to try crypto? Would you like to... Okay. Would you like to try crypto?
Have you started your crypto journey?
No, never.
No, I have not.
Not yet. No, not once.
My husband does.
Yeah, I have started my crypto journey, but I'm definitely only at the beginning.
I'm curious, but I'm also scared.
There's that fear factor to it.
I think women are more cautious about it.
It's just not as simple as banking.
For me, this is a new adventure.
Is this a job interview?
It's not complicated, it's just getting educated.
But with Binance, for example, you guys have courses.
To get you all started, we're giving away $25 to 5,000 women who do a short course on Binance Academy. Crypto is yours. Welcome to Binance.
I encourage women to start crypto.
Hearing today about the Academy, I'm actually super excited to hopefully upskill a bit more myself.
Yeah, and I would love to start.
I start my journey now from today.
Yes.
All right, so that's Binance's approach to getting more women in crypto. Let's go to Dan. Eve, what do you think about the Binance minute and 20-second commercial?
Oh, I'm going to seem like a right stickler, but I just think it's really dumb. Like, I don't know. Like, the whole. This is a bit of a can of worms. I think the whole like, there's not enough women in crypto. Like, I just still can't. It's 2024. When are we gonna stop looking at every single thing ever and going, there's not enough of person X in this group here? It just seems like it's just a total unnecessary thing. It's just like, let people get on and do their thing, and if they want to like get into crypto, then do it. If they don't, it's not because of a load of evil men that are sat there in some Bitcoin meetup as a woman walks in and go, oh, look, there's a vagina walking in the room. Let's be really nasty to her to make sure that less women get into crypto. It's nothing like that. They're nice and welcoming. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that all these things are just really silly recently, and you never see the flip side of it, right? You never see, oh, there's too many women in such and such. We better do something about this. There's always there's too many evil men in this industry, and we need to do something about this because there's too many evil men means that there's not enough of proper decisions being made because men can't competently make decisions by themselves. That's my little rant. But anyway, yeah, look, get women in crypto. It's cool. Just get into crypto. If you like it, get into it. If not, don't get into it. But just like.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the production value or the negativity. If you only watch the first 30 seconds of this commercial, you get that women don't like crypto and that they aren't interested in it, which we already have, right?
Oh, hey, Dan.
Build on something. Go ahead, Gideon.
Hey, Dan, let me interrupt.
Oh, is mute. I can't hear him. Can you hear anything?
No.
It might be an international women's conspiracy. Gideon, we can't hear you right now.
Can't hear you.
Yeah. Anyway, Dan,
Now we
what you
can hear
just
you.
said about Batman and crypto, just have a look on the OneCoin diva.
Yeah.
So there was a lady in the front of all this one of the biggest scams in history of crypto. Sorry,
Now
sorry.
that's a crypto
Can you hear
ad
me?
I'd like to see. Women,
Hello?
women are. We can hear you now, Gideon. I don't know what happened before, but
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you, but now you can't hear us.
Hello.
Hello.
Try to disconnect and
Does it work
reconnect,
or not?
maybe.
The dubbing's well out. Oh, like you are miles behind.
Yeah.
It's an amazing connection in German.
German internet.
Okay, Gideon, try to disconnect and reconnect. I don't know if you can hear us.
Oh, we can't hear you, Gideon, man.
Somebody chat with him. But anyway, yeah, it's also not great with the whole women approach. Women like perfume. Let's have a perfume and spray it to the women. And it just kind of seems kind of degrading, kind of not very sensitive to the women. Like there's lots of technical women they could have. And I just don't like the production value. I'd like to see a Matt Damon out there. I'd like to see a celebrity. We had so-and-so go out for crypto, or maybe if they're really going to do a perfume, to really involve the perfume company and to really make a perfume and really go that direction. It just seemed kind of like a video that I could have done, but it was done by Binance, who has billions of dollars. We're trying to get Gideon back here, but Josh Shigala, what do you think about the Binance attempt to draw more women into crypto?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's the smell of money. It's like green. This sort of smell of money. I don't know. It just seems weird. It's so funny. I remember seeing these. It's been there forever, right? The conferences, these women in Bitcoin. They'd be like, "How can we get more women in Bitcoin?" Yeah, I think that's a good question. How can you? But there's nothing stopping anybody in any group. This was the whole beautiful thing about it. I remember years ago in 2010 saying, 2011 saying, anybody can come in. This is the beautiful thing about you can have some kid in Myanmar living in grandma's basement, building something that will attach to the Bitcoin network. And this is why it will become so powerful, because that same kid can't build something for the Visa network because it's closed. But they can. So any woman, any kid, any guy, any girl, any black, any color, you can have. You can start to join this free and open source community. This is what's beautiful. There is no job interview. There's nothing stopping you. You know, a lot of the major movements been around the feminist movements been like, these evil bosses stop me, or they pay me less, or there's not even, and there's nothing stopping you. There's literally, you can just.
Can you hear me right now?
And
Yep. Sounds good.
And yet there's still complaints that there's not enough women. Like just join. It's there. Just download the free and open source software. Start a YouTube channel. I don't know. Like just start a business. It's not hard. There's no one stopping you. It's fun. And there's a lot of women that have, our friend Tatiana Moroz has been in this forever. We've got friends all over the crypto sphere that are women. So it's, I don't know. Again, just these marketing people, they have to come up with something. They're like, what are we going to do? I don't know. Come up with something. Oh, women in crypto, perfume. Like it's just so lame. I don't know if
I think we're just lucky that they skipped Black History Day, that they didn't try something there. Who knows what they could have come up with, like slavery.
Oh God,
it's good, Binance. I don't know. It's terrible.
God.
Like you don't want to let these marketing people free, like Josh is saying.
No, there was a famous comedian, I've forgotten, but he went, just you're a marketer, kill all marketers.
Oh yeah, Bill Hicks, of course.
Bill Hicks.
Yeah, great Bill Hicks.
One thing I would say, Binance also released the Binance a suitcase, and I'm thinking, you don't want a big, like, there's enough scammers as a tourist. Like, when you're a tourist in some of these countries, you are going to get scammed.
Yeah,
you're going to get scammed or extra hard or get totally reamed or murdered if you're walking around with a Binance that basically advertising, I've got a bearer-based asset and the easiest attack is a wrench attack. Just idiotic marketers that seemingly.
Well, and we have heard at least one thing
me?
that in other countries they all know about Binance. They all know the word Binance, like Josh is saying, and unfortunately, they probably think stock market, Wall Street, big money. So yeah, carrying a bag like that would be very strange. But I do think it's odd that, like Josh and Dan have been saying, that we try to recruit specific groups into Bitcoin. Personally, I just found it on my own. I watched some Andreas videos. No one had to tell me I could join or not join. And like Josh is saying, I think that's part of the great thing about Bitcoin as well as the internet in general. If you want to be into something, create a name, create an avatar. Nobody knows who you are. We're never going to know. Do whatever you want to do. So it is very odd when they have these groups like, we need more white males in Bitcoin. We need more libertarians. We need more cypherpunks. I never hear that. But and then finally, again, I just want to mention the BBB, the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, Lamar's group, and how much great work they do bringing in their own community. And if women or Mexicans or Japanese people or Asians or anybody in the world, sorry about grouping people, if any group wants to be into Bitcoin, do what the BBB did, like have this very sensitive, direct approach. They talk mainly about Bitcoin. They talk mainly about dollar cost averaging. They don't talk about getting rich. The name of the group's kind of a joke. Of course, anyone can join. You can be white or Mexican or anything, whatever you want. And just more groups like that. But they have to be started by the people involved. I don't think it's going to work if like a corporation like Binance is like, women, you should form your own group. Like no one said that to Lamar and his people. They were like, yeah, of course we should form a group around this valuable new asset and try to improve our community. And like we've said before, I mean, we're good at talking to Bitcoin nerds and that kind of thing. Other people are good at talking to their own groups because their groups believe them and trust them, not in a con man way here, but that's how you communicate with people. That's how you spread the word about something. So it's exciting. Welcome to the women. I hope that the crypto perfume promotion convinced you. I'm not sure that it would, but I hope that it did. And now let's move to the exit question. Pop quiz. What does crypto or Bitcoin smell like? Dan, Eve, it's your turn to open up a bottle of crypto perfume. And now describe the scent of Bitcoin.
Oh, the smell of missing the boat. It's like, it's a nice smell of the shoreline and watching the ship sail.
And it says on the back, have fun saying poor. HFSP. Josh Shigala, what about you? What is the smell of crypto or the smell of Bitcoin?
It smells like freedom. That's what it smells like. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny that they did that brand to get people sparking a conversation. If I ever walk into like a shopping center through the perfume, I'm like, quick, like I can't get out of there fast enough. I can't stand it. I can't stand artificial smells and stuff. So it's definitely not something I'll be like, get away from me.
Well, and you can tell marketing is involved because they're spraying the QR code. They're spraying the wallet or the receipt or whatever they're giving people there, which is not something you'd want, but it is something that marketing would want because you would pull that out of your wallet and be like, what is this stinky paper I'm carrying? Gideon, what is it? Gideon, we're going to you last. What is the smell of crypto? What is the smell of Bitcoin?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So it's like poo. It's like the shit that goes down in the earth and makes new shit. So it makes definitely sense. So if the cow poos out some shit, it will grow to another big plant, whatever. So yeah. It's like poo.
Or it grows into a magic mushroom.
Magic mushroom also can be the part of the solution. Yes.
It would be great. Bitcoins do seem to grow like mushrooms. They grow like wild. I don't know what I was going to say. Poo kind of takes the cake for me. I was going to say maybe it smells like oranges. That's a nice smell. Maybe it smells like dirty money. That's a bad smell. And maybe it smells like the future, but I don't know what the future smells like. Probably that kind of ionized air that you have in data centers. Yeah.
Just wait 2 weeks with your oranges and then you will smell the poo shit. so it's fine.
All things return to poo. But we're running out of time. Let's go to
Exactly.
predictions or story of the week. Dan, Eve, do you have a prediction or a story of the week? Go ahead.
My prediction is that I reckon we're gonna I'm feeling pretty confident about Bitcoin's crazy price now. I reckon we're gonna see something stupid like, 80K before the halvening now. It's what, 45 days away. So yeah, that's my prediction. It's gonna be a nice crazy Bitcoin price hike.
Remember, Adam Back, friend of the show, predicted 100K before the halvening. Still unknown if we will reach that mark. Josh Chagall, a prediction or a story of the week?
Yeah, story. I got myself I've never really been a sports person. I never had a sport. I mean, people, because I'm 6'8", people always told me I have to play basketball. I tried it, but I just hate things in my face. I hate these fakies where they're shoving balls. Get out of my face. I don't like it. Anyway, so I'm like,
Bro,
I
they
bought.
just asked for the prediction.
Yeah. Well, I bought myself a kite surfing kite, and so that's my story of the week. I'm learning kite surfing, and it's fun because I can actually, enjoy the beach, enjoy it, because I don't like surfing either. So kite surfing is fun.
So
that's my story of the
see
week.
you on Sicilia next time, hopefully.
Yeah, man, that was a great unconference brought to you by Gideon. It was beautiful. Great memories.
Yeah, we are running out of time, but this is what we try to establish at the Blockchain Hotel right now for 2022. Sorry,
2024.
So, 2022, obviously also, but anyway, yeah, looking forward to see you there, Thomas, and then also obviously,
yeah,
I will get you the right infos at the right time in case it's possible for us. But definitely, Blockchain Hotel is back, and we are looking forward to see all of you there anytime. Even if you are in Germany, in the west of Germany, just ping me, and Cologne, Berlin, whatever. Just ping me, and then we can figure out how to meet there, even if there is no conference or stuff like this. So, yeah.
That sounds very cool. So the Blockchain Hotel in Essen, Germany is going to have another Bitcoin conference. I think we've all been to one of those, or two or three. Gideon, do you have any more on a prediction or a story of the week, or is that it for you?
There is no special details or let's say fixed dates or something. But we are definitely back, and even it's the last, let's say, quarter of 2024. Worst case, the first of 2025. Obviously, all of you will get the first information, especially you, Thomas, Matt, and Thomas, obviously, yeah. So, yeah, just looking forward, and hope to see you back there. And thank you for the time. And
and Gideon, where can they follow you guys on Twitter? What's your Twitter account?
It's Blockchain Hotel. It's like, as you can hear, see here, Blockchain Hotel. And on Twitter, it's not that much. Let's say we are closed since 2 years or 3 years, so it's kind of not marketing aspect, but Blockchain Hotel, you will find us blockchainhotel.de and stuff, and Blockchain Hotel on YouTube and stuff. So yeah.
Well, and it can be very hard to run these conferences, especially during the bear markets. One year you have great sponsors. The next year, everyone goes out of business. You have no sponsors. So I understand exactly the difficulties.
It's exactly the same with sponsors for meetups, for example. If we have 30 guests or if we have 150 guests, it only depends on the Bitcoin price. So if the Bitcoin is priced right now, we can host an event with 150 people, and if there is an event like 20K, they are like, oh, what are you doing here and stuff. So I don't know. It's free market.
Well, and it's strange because it's the exact opposite of what you should do. You should be interested when it's down. You should be less interested when it's up. But
I'm
we
a German
see this
guy
every
also,
time. Yeah,
the German guys are like this. So yeah, this is how it works.
Yeah, the other thing is that people, people need to stop saying that price doesn't matter, because for the whole industry, it does matter. Like it says, and this isn't just conferences, it's like everything. If you are building a startup, no VC will look at you when the price is down. Price is up, everyone's
Yes,
looking,
true.
everyone's wanting in.
But this is only because all these startups are connected to the price scenario. So I don't know. It's in Germany.
No,
we
it's just
say
general
Fluch,
interest. General interest just
Fluch und
wanes
Segen.
down.
It's in Germany we say Fluch and Segen. It's the best and the worst thing you can get at the same time. To just make the best out of it. I don't know. It was a pleasure to be a part here. Thank you.
Thanks,
Germany, they have the best words for everything. And again, a shout out to the 120 people, it says, that are watching us on Mad Bitcoin's Twitter, and the 120 that are watching on World Crypto Network. Shout out to you guys. You can also check us out on YouTube, World Crypto Network. You can leave a comment down below. And of course, shout out to our regular crew in the chat over at YouTube. If you guys want to join the chat next time, it's on YouTube. And give us a shout out, give us a favorite or a retweet, push all those buttons. And thanks again to everybody for joining us. Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.